guys. Today I have some ideas for getting meals on your table. Some of these ideas come from Bree McCoy and and I have some grocery shopping tips from Brittany Cooper. First, I'm going to go over some of my notes on what I picked up from what they said, and then we'll do a little review or a recap. But now, Bree McCoy, you'll like her. She's got a lot of energy, very bubbly. She says she used to hate cooking, but now she loves cooking. And she recommends having the right tools in your kitchen to make cooking more fun and more pleasant and more enjoyable. But she talks about how she would tap out at about Thursday. She says no matter what she did, by Thursday, she never wanted to cook. She just lost interest, and she beat herself up a lot over that. And then she just decided, you know what? Maybe a 4-day meal plan is all we need. And she decided to not beat herself up. And that was her night for takeout or leftovers. And now I didn't do it for that reason, but I have a similar situation. My husband and I had decided when we were first married that Thursday nights would be date night because Fridays were too crazy. Weekend dating nights were just too crazy and too crowded. So we decided on Thursday nights. And so that is my night off from cooking. But then we got into a bad habit of going out to eat so much that every night was date night, basically. But before the pandemic, because my husband's diabetes, we decided to start cooking at home and getting healthier. And then the pandemic hit, and it really enforced that cooking at home. So thankfully, I had already decided to start cooking more at home and had already started that process a little bit. And then the pandemic hit and made it really something that I was able to really sit down and be forced into making a meal plan that worked for me, because I didn't enjoy working full time and running a part-time business and having to keep up with all the cooking was too much. So I made a super easy meal plan for my family, and you can find that in my other YouTube videos. And I'm in the process of working on making another month of meal planning to step that up. I just make almost the same things every month. I just tweak them a little bit. But I said all of that to say this Bree McCoy gave me some fresh ideas. And for you, if you just want to do what she does and do a 4-day meal plan, that is great too. I have a 6-day meal plan that I do monthly, and that works for me. But she has 3 things that works for her. The 4-day meal plan, she cooks at 2 p.m. Now, she did this talk that I listened to was during the pandemic, so I don't know if she is a work-at-home mom, has always worked at home, or has always stayed home, but she has more energy at 2, so that's when she does her cooking. And then she has some other things we'll talk about in a minute that she does. And then some of the meals that she does all the time, she kind of revamped with adding sauces to that. I would change that up. If you cannot do cooking at 2 p.m., what I would do is, if you are at home, use the time of the day that you have the most energy to do that and take advantage of that But if you work, then maybe on the weekends there are some other things you can do to make preparation for cooking and mealtime easier. But that's all another video. It just made me think about that. Not everybody can choose to cook at 2 o'clock. I have done a video about a lady who, when she cooks breakfast, she goes ahead and gets everything ready for her meal prep for supper. So it's all ready to go. All she has to do is cook. So you'll have to find what works for you and your schedule. But here's some of the tips that I got from her was she does her meal plan and shopping on Saturday. Now I do my shopping this way. I have my membership at Sam's Club. I buy all of my stuff at Sam's Club, even though it's just the two of us, because I buy things that I know we're going to eat eventually anyway, so it all gets eaten and nothing goes to waste. So I have my Sam's Club membership, so every time I run out of something, every time I want to cook something, I keep up with my shopping list on my Sam's Club app, and I make that running list. And when I decide that I need to get the shopping done, I just push for club pickup. I go and park. They load it into my van, and I take it home. And that's how I do my shopping. Now they have home delivery, so you can do that as well. I just wanted to add that in because Sam's Club did not have that when this lady did this little talk. So do your meal planning and shopping when you are energized, when you can do that on your schedule. By Thursday, she said she just was tapped out and just didn't seem to ever really cross over to getting any meals on the table on Thursday, so she just made that her leftover or takeout night. Fridays was always pizza, and I guess she just makes her own pizza dough and makes homemade pizza. Me and my husband, we use the low carb tortillas and we make our pizzas. But we usually just make pepperoni pizza. But listening to her, I started thinking of other things. Since I do them on tortillas and they're all individual pizzas, I started thinking I could actually add other ingredients to my pizza that I like that he doesn't like because they're individual pizzas. So I may have to start changing up our pizza, but nevertheless, if you are eating low carb or keto, you can just do that on low carb tortillas, and it's not as thick a crust as you may like, but they are delicious to us, and so we don't miss our pizzas doing it that way. And she mentions sheet pan nachos. Just put all the chips out on a sheet pan, put a spoonful of refried beans on each chip and all the toppings that you want, put it in the oven. And she says she just serves her sheet pan nachos right on that pan, of course, waiting for it to cool. She puts the lime, sour cream, all the toppings around the sheet pan so everybody can reach and the toppings. And that's what she does. So that's something that can be done on Saturday or Sunday. And she says, so just decide on what day of the week you need a break. And then she talks about filling in with the sheet pan nachos, burgers, sausage links, or if your family eats hot dogs. Mine does not. Mine never has. And maybe leftover pizza. She mentioned she has a Thai recipe, stir fry recipe that's really good, and I will leave information to her website and everything that she has. I'll leave that in the links below in the description box. So She has recipes for dressings and sauces and easy meals on her website. Now, let me just go ahead and do a little review or an overview of some of the things she said. Her name is Bree McCoy. Bree shares with us 3-step system to get weeknight meals to the table consistently in a way that doesn't make you feel overwhelmed. The right tools will make cooking dinner so much easier. Some suggestions are a high quality knife, garlic roller, ounce measuring cup, citrus press, meat crumbler, a trash bowl. That one I am going to start adopting. And a bench scraper, or it's just a scraper to pick up the chopped onions off of the cutting board and to put them in the pan, and it just scrapes everything off of your cutting boards nice and easily. Bree says, I did not learn to cook until after I got married. It was a very bumpy road. There were a lot of burnt meals. There were a lot of muffins that with salt instead of sugar, but I ended up falling in love with cooking. So there is hope, guys. I used to love to cook, and then I just got spoiled, and now I've had to learn to love cooking again, but now it's just super easy, simple easy meals. But I have adopted some things from her ideas of adding sauces and keto factor home delivery meals. I'm trying to figure out how their meals are made, and I'm gonna try to start replicating some of those meals, because we've tried like 10, 11, 12 of those meals so far, and every single one of them was delicious. So for a low carb keto meal, delicious. Lots of flavor. If you like your food to have flavor, they all have flavor. Delicious. We've loved every one. I don't think there's one we haven't loved, and that is amazing for me, because I don't like to eat diet foods that taste like diet foods. So I think about what night of the week is hardest for you to cook and use that night as your takeout or leftover night. This night can change seasonally if you need it to. For example, if you have kids in sports, etc. Now, for us, we changed our Thursday night date night to Wednesday date night. So that's what we did. When cooking earlier in the day, find recipes where you add a couple ingredients at the end. These are perfect for when it's time to reheat the meal. So I told you she cooks it at 2, and then she just adds like herbs, fresh herbs and lime juices or something at the end, and reheats it, and that is ready for supper. Add variety to your every week meals, pizza night, nacho night, etc. by combining it with action step number 3 of adding a sauce. Your sauces can also be used as marinades or dressings, so they have more than one use. You're not just making it one time and the rest goes to waste. Meal plan for only 4 days. This will help avoid burnout on the 5th day. Plan for takeout or leftovers. Another night of the week, plan to always have the same thing, like pizza night. That last night usually is dinner with friends or leftovers. Cook early. We tend to be tired by 6 p.m., so cook early in the day when you have more energy. This may not work with everyone's schedule, but if you can do it at least a couple of nights, it will make a huge difference. And then she mentions revamping classic dishes with a sauce. Just by adding a sauce, you can elevate a simple meal with very little effort. And those are the things that I adopted from her. Now, because this is such a short one, and I'm not real sure if how you're going to feel about this next idea, but this next idea comes from One Unified Home, and she's on YouTube, and I will leave links to her as well. But I'm going to add this in because it's about grocery shopping. She says that once a month grocery shopping saves money and time for her and her family. So if it's possible to do that, that's what she suggests doing. She says, look at what needs to be in your refrigerator all the time. Go through everything in your refrigerator. What is it that you buy all the time? And then think about all the things that you eat for breakfast. And what do you need all the time? Lunch. What is it that you eat on a regular basis all the time? And dinner, what do you eat on a regular basis? And this is where she suggests doing a meal plan so you do know what groceries you're going to need for the whole month. She says if this is too overwhelming for you, start, just recording all this information for a few weeks while you're doing your once a week grocery shopping. Then double that and figure out how much you spent, double that, and then attempt to do it twice. You're shopping only twice a month, and then increase that to 3 times, and then 4 times a month. I mean, you multiply it 4 times for the month, and try to only do your grocery shopping once a month, except for maybe to just run in and get the fresh produce and milk items. That will save you time. But again, I'm going to reiterate, now grocery stores have the pickup and home delivery, so those could be options for you if you can afford the extra expense. So start out slow. Don't just start off doing your grocery shopping for the whole month right off the bat. Get some practice with, making sure you know how much you consume in a week, how much do you consume in 2 weeks, and then double it for once a month. And see how that goes, and keep tweaking it and readjusting it until you get it almost there. Every person, and then she solves some problems with once a week shopping. What she did was, for each family member, she made a bin of snacks that they had to consume in a month. Well, they didn't have to consume it in a month, but only amount of snacks she wanted them to eat in a month. Now, they could eat them all in 1 week, or they could self-regulate them, and they had to last for the month. And now she's not talking about taking lunches to school. She's just talking about snacks at home. And then she said, with this system, though, you may have to find a place in the garage for your overflow of groceries. Maybe the freezer also may be something that, this system will only work if you have the extra money to put aside for it once a month, if you have space for it, for all those groceries, freezer space, refrigerator space. I somewhat do that only because it's my husband and I do all my shopping at Sam's Club. So some of that stuff I do, it's not frozen when I get it home. So it's so easy for me to just pick up some Ziploc bags and divide it out. I know how much my husband and I will eat for each meal. So I divide out the chicken. I cook all my ground beef in bulk, and then I buy the pre-made hamburger patties, season those up. I am thinking, though, about the hamburger patties. They kind of plump up kind of fat when I cook them. I'm wondering I may start pressing them out to be a little bit thinner, and then I think when I season them, that will help the flavor of the burgers as well. These are just things I'm thinking now while I'm talking to you on this YouTube. But those are some things that she suggests to save money and time by buying groceries once a month. Now I'm going to go over some of the things that she said in her overview. Those were just my notes in case I missed something. But her name is Brittany Cooper, and she is One Unified Family on YouTube. And again, like I said, I'm going to leave all the links to them at the bottom. Brittany teaches how to eliminate the stress of dinner time and to stop wasting money by monthly meal planning and shopping. We'll start 1 week at a time and build to only once a month. Now, a tip, she says, when we go to the store without a game plan, we end up overbuying and wasting a lot of food. Now, I do have to say, I did waste a lot of food before I started meal planning and making my meals the same all over and over and over, so I knew exactly how much we would eat. That is a game changer. That will save you money because you're not wasting food. So let me reiterate that again. When we go to the store without a game plan, we end up overbuying and wasting a lot of food because it'll just go bad in the refrigerator. When it was just, Brittany says, when it was just hubby and we used to spend over $1,000 a month on only food. Now, as a family of 5, we spend around $500 a month on food and miscellaneous items. I don't know how much my husband and I spend, but none of it ever goes to waste unless once in a great while I will put some chicken in my refrigerator to defrost, and then something will happen in our schedule and I will forget that I already had it defrosted and it will go bad. Maybe I think I've done that twice in the 3 years I have been doing this meal plan. So that's pretty good. But she is saying that now she has a family of 5, and she says she spends about $100 per person in the family a month. My husband and I, we don't really worry too much about how much we spend on groceries, only because we know we're going to eat it and none of it does go to waste. So I don't know how much I spend, but it's enough for us. But that's her, what she's talking about trying to do. We spend around $500 a month on food and miscellaneous items. Now, I do know this. My husband and I used to spend, I don't even know, I know at least $700 a month on eating out. So even if we spent $500 a month on groceries, that's just for us two, and that would last a very long time. But whatever my husband and I spend, it works for us, and it saved us $700 a month eating out for sure. I know we're saving at least $700 a month. When creating an inventory list, include special treats because you can plan ahead. You can still buy the things you want and save money. You need to get 1 week of grocery shopping down first as your baseline for how much food and money you need for 1 week. Make adjustments as you go. Then, in order to save the $400 to $600 needed for a monthly shopping, try eating out less, cooking at home more, any ideas to have a spending freeze for a certain amount of time, cutting all non-essential purchases just until you get ahead to start doing the once a month cooking. Grocery shopping and cooking, I guess. But mostly grocery shopping is what we're talking about. When buying produce, save the harder produce for later in the month. You can also hold out $20 to $25 per week just to run in and purchase the produce. Keep extra snack food out of sight and only pull it out when needed to avoid it all being eaten at the beginning of the month. Here are some things she says to do. Monitor the food going in and out of your house for 1 week. Begin by making an inventory of things your family uses every week. Make a meal plan for dinners for 1 week at a time, then make your grocery list from the plan. Don't forget to shop your fridge and pantry just to save money at the store. Once you've become successful at shopping for 1 full week without any extra trips to the store, double your meal plan. Once you are successful with shopping for 2 weeks, then you can graduate to planning the shopping for the whole month, because you're just going to double that. To know how much to budget for monthly shopping, figure out how much you need for 1 week, double that to get your amount for 2 weeks, then double that for spending for 4 weeks. As a general rule, you will spend about $100 per person in your family for the month. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you on the next podcast, and I hope this saves you lots of money, and I will talk to you later.